All right, I think we're live. It looks like we might be live. Welcoming everybody to another episode of Orioles Weekly. We got lots to talk about on this week's episode, as tons of news over the last week out of Orioles camp that we're going to talk about. And glad to have all of you here as we get right into it in just a minute here. I've been trying to set up the again, this week I've been trying to set up for my intro that I always do, but for some reason I can't get the sound. Like, I can play it. Here you go. I'll play it for you. But some reason it will not, and I don't know why. It just won't play the audio on it, so I can play it, but I can't get the audio. Welcome in, Kay Wilby. Good to have you here. Again, I know the show is just getting started. We're still brand new on YouTube. We're at about 379 subscribers, so we're moving right along, but we're getting there. Glad to have all of you here. We got lots of Orioles news to talk about. We're going to talk about the opening day starter that's been announced. The first round of cuts by the Orioles has been made. We're going to talk some Jackson Holliday, some Kobe Mayo. I've got my 15. I was going to do 40. I cut it down to 15. My 15 bold predictions for the season. I was going to talk about the roster and do some roster predictions this week. But to be honest with you, we're still 3 weeks out from opening day. And I think it's still kind of hard to give any kind of real set predictions on the roster. I can give some opinions on what I think about players, but not necessarily. I don't want to do predictions just yet. So I know that was in the thumbnail, but we're going to wait on that. But let's do some quick housekeeping. We'll talk a little bit, and then we'll get into things. Of course, as everybody knows, every Monday right here, Orioles Weekly, 6 p.m. That's pretty much going to be the standard time. Hopefully you guys can join us for that each and every week as we talk all things Orioles. I like to do 6 p.m. because once the season starts, the games are going to be 6:37, and we want to make sure we don't run into the games. So that's every Monday. Of course, on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, we have Orioles and Major League Baseball videos. We're still in the middle of our top 25 Orioles, greatest Baltimore Orioles players of all time. I think this week it's going to be numbers 11 and 10. Yeah, 11 and 10 this week, so be sure to check them out Tuesdays and Wednesdays. Those videos will drop at 9 a.m. And, of course, starting once the season starts, we will have our Wednesday game of the week. Sometimes they'll fall on Thursdays because some Wednesday games are afternoon games. And, of course, I got to work, so I can't do those. But for the most part, Wednesdays, game of the week, we'll be doing play-by-play for the first time ever. So hope you guys can join us for that. And, of course, every Thursday, let's make that a little bit bigger so you guys can see that. Of course, every Thursday we do our Hall of Fame profiles. Be sure to check out our profiles. Each and every Thursday we do a new profile on a Hall of Famer. And like I've said before, these are phenomenal. I love doing these. I've learned so much about players, old and new, that I didn't know things about them. And definitely check them out. Those videos will drop at 9 a.m. as well every Thursday. And pretty soon Friday as well. I'm getting those Friday videos together. But I don't want to say Friday just yet until we're there. So there you go. Let's say hi to everybody in the chat. Kay Wilby's here. Douglas Bailey. Paul Engel. Jeannie's here. Amatic Brian is back. Jeremy Weingard is back. Dan 820 Chief is here as well. Thanks, everybody. Be sure to hit that like button. Likes very, very important because the more likes we get, the more YouTube will say, hey, look, they're doing something fun over there. Go check them out. So please go ahead and give us a like for sure. But let's get right into it. First thing I want to talk about right off the bat, Orioles announced opening day starter. Really no surprise here at all. Corbin Burnes is going to start opening day for the Orioles on March 28th against Anaheim, the Angels. I think it's the Angels. It's either the Angels or Kansas City. I'm pretty sure it's the Angels. So, no real surprise with that. Everybody knew it was going to be Burnes. At first, before they traded for Corbin Burnes, of course, everybody was thinking it was going to be Kyle Bradish. Of course, Bradish is now shelved. He's on the DL. He's going to start the season on the disabled list, or the IL now as they call it. I guess the DL is considered insensitive. Whatever. But anyway, he's on the injured list, so he's not starting. But Corbin Burnes, opening day starter, no surprise there at all. You guys can let me know in the chat what you think about that. I'm glad they announced it early so he can get in line and they can get the rotation set up correctly. and get him going opening day. I'm excited. I think Corbin Burnes is really happy to be here. He was on a contender last year. Milwaukee was a very good team, but he's on a real good team with the Orioles now, and he's gonna anchor the rotation. I really think he is, and it was just that much more of a necessity to get this guy when we found out about Kyle Bradish and John Means. And I still think, and I think many people have said this, I still think that the Orioles knew about Bradish and Means before they made the trade, and I think it's probably why they did it. Why they pulled the trigger was because they knew they were going to be down two-fifths of their starting rotation to start the season, and they wanted somebody to anchor it. Just my opinion, but I think that's what they did. I really think they knew. Brian says, okay with Burnes starting game 1. Oh, absolutely. I mean, he's like the second or third best pitcher in baseball, and the Orioles have him. So I think it's a no-brainer. Jeremy says Corbin Burnes was the only choice for opening day, especially with Bradish down. Yeah, exactly. And it was just good that we finally got that. That's out of the way now. We know who the opening day starter is. We know it's going to be Corbin Burnes, and they're going to go from there. What I'm interested to see is who gets number 2. Is it going to be Grayson Rodriguez? Is it going to be Dean Kramer? Is it going to be Cole Irvin? Is it going to be Tyler Wells? Who goes second? I'm assuming it's going to be Grayson Rodriguez, but you never know. And, of course, after Corbin Burnes found out he was going to be the opening day starter, he went out in his next start on the mound. He got shelled. He did. He actually did. He didn't pitch very well in his next outing. But as we've talked about before when it comes to spring training is just about getting your work in, working on your pitches, getting your innings in, building up. That's really all it is about. It's really not about production and results for spring training, unless you are a guy that's a fringe player trying to make a team, which we're going to get into a couple of them a little bit later on. A guy like Corbin Burnes, it doesn't matter what he does. I mean, I don't think the Orioles want to see him get shelled. They don't want to see him come in out of spring training with a 15 ERA. But that being said, if he gets one here and there that's not very good, they're not worried about that. They just want to see him get his work in. So I think that they're happy with the way he's going. And there you go, Corbin Burnes, starting opening day for the Orioles. He's your guy. He's your stopper. What he basically equates to, for those who aren't as familiar with baseball, an ace is that guy that is twofold. First off, he's the guy that is win day. When he's on the mound, it's a win. That's what you're expecting. You're expecting a win. And he's also that guy that, with that win, he could stop a losing streak. He's your stopper, so to speak. He's the guy that if the Orioles have lost 3 or 4 in a row or something like that, when he gets on the mound, you're expecting to win, and he's going to stop it. And so that's what they needed. And they really haven't had somebody like that in a very, very, very long time. I think their last legitimate stopper was probably Mike Messina. And that shows you how far back that goes. But anyway, so there you go. As we've said, the man is going to be opening day Corbin Burnes. Next up, I want to talk about the first round of camp cuts. Now, the Orioles have done their first round of cuts for the season. I say for the season. Where is it? I'm sorry. I'm trying to get my paperwork up here so I can go over this with you. But the first round of camp cuts, look, the Orioles started with like 60-something players in camp. They have now gotten it down to, I think it's now down to 57. Seth Johnson, right-handed pitcher. Silas Ardoin, catcher. Justin Ambrewster, right-handed pitcher. Roland Guzman, left-handed pitcher. Garrett Stallings, right-handed pitcher. And Nathan Webb, right-handed pitcher, were all sent to minor league camp. They were optioned to minor league camp. Nobody in that group is really a surprise. None of those guys were going to make this team at all. So I don't think there's anything to really say, oh my gosh, I'm surprised by that at all. These cuts were expected. None of these guys were expected to make the team. Jeremy says, Grayson Rodriguez is probably going second unless he melts down in spring training and one of the other guys is lights out. You're right. Moose was probably the last legit ace. Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah, Jeremy, in my opinion, I think he definitely was the last legitimate ace that the Orioles had. And that just goes to show you how long it's been. Because even when the Orioles were good in 2012 through 16, They didn't really have. I mean, you had guys like Chris Tillman and stuff, but they weren't stoppers. They just that's not what they were. But anyway, so there you go. So the first round of camp cuts are done. Again, no real surprises there. We're now down to 57 players. There's still a lot of cuts to go. And I'm actually surprised more guys weren't cut because they got to get down to 26 in 21 days now. So I think you'll start seeing, by the end of this week, I think you'll see at least another 10 to 12 guys cut, either DFA'd, in other words, designate for assignment and just cut from the organization altogether, released, or they'll be optioned to the minor league club. Again, it's also going to depend on the guys as to whether or not they have options too. Victor's here. What's up, Victor? Welcome in from Disney Springs. That's right. You are in town, my man. Good to see you. We'll see Victor Wednesday night for dinner. Melissa and I. But good to have you here, Victor. Hope you guys are having fun. Don't spend time with me. Go enjoy Disney Springs. I'm sure you're having a good time. But yeah, lots more camp cuts to come as we get those announcements of who's getting cut, who's getting reassigned. We'll let you know with each Orioles Weekly. But there you go. So first round of cuts done. We had 6 guys cut from the team. 57 players still out there. A lot more are going to be cut. I can promise you that. But we will see. Let's see. We got Paul's in here talking. Good to have all of my mods in here as well. Next up, we got to talk about this guy. So, Jackson Holliday is really heating up, folks. When camp first started, he was, he was struggling. He was slow. I don't even want to say he was struggling. He had a slow start to spring, but as his at bats have grown, so have the quality of his at bats. Even when he wasn't getting hits, he was having good at bats, making good contact, solid contact. His exit velocity was always high. Just having good at bats. And so far in the spring, he was, and that was before today, he was batting .286 with a .917 OPS, 2 doubles, 2 triples. And of course, Sunday, just yesterday, against the Toronto Blue Jays, he hit his first home run of the spring training, and it was a grand slam. And he smoked it. I mean, and it was a lefty on lefty too, because Yusei Kikuchi was pitching for Toronto, which is one of their main starters, and he's a lefty. So it was a lefty on lefty, and he hit a grand slam. I think the other day, last week as well, he went 3 for 4 in a game where he had a single, double, and triple. He was only a home run away from the cycle. So Jackson Holliday is heating up. And he is really pushing to make the Orioles have to make a legitimate hard decision on this guy. Jeff Snook, welcome in, Jeff. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. And if he just continues to do what he's doing, I think his chances of making this team are really, really good. Now, I know a lot of people have said he actually went 2 for 3 today, too. He got 2 hits in today's game against the Yankees. I think there's a lot of consensus that the Orioles could say, look, let's give him a few more at-bats in the minor leagues, make sure he's fully ready. We've got somebody like a Colton Wong, or we've got a Ramon Urias who can play in the infield in the meantime as placeholders. But my opinion is this. If he's ready to go, he's ready to go. You're here to win. And if he is your future, what is there to show? If he's hitting it against major league hitters, give him the shot. You might as well. I mean, he's heating up in the major leagues. He's a superstar in waiting. And God forbid something bad happens. This guy's on his way. And what's the worst thing that could happen? He comes up here. Well, not the worst thing, but what could happen? He could come up. He could struggle. And the Orioles send him back down. They did it last year with Grayson Rodriguez. Grayson Rodriguez had an ERA over 7 in the first month of the season. His first 6-7 starts, they sent him back down. He collected himself. He worked on his pitches, got himself together, came back up. Look at the second half Grayson Rodriguez had. So it doesn't hurt to bring him up and to let him start and to give him the opportunity. What's the worst that can happen? He just struggles and you send him back down. Jeff says he's gonna make it, and so is Cowser. We're going to talk about that. Jackson Holliday looking better and better for a regular season start. You're ready to win now. No sense in keeping him down. Yeah, and that's kind of my point. Look, I get it. He's a rookie, and the Orioles have a lot of young rookie players or young players only in their second, third year. Really young team, which is great. And they want to win now, and they want to continue to win now. And that's great, too. But I think the level of these guys is top tier. It's not your normal rookies where you're like worried, are they going to this, that, and the other. These guys are very mature for their age. And I don't know, I just think they're ready to go. Jeremy says, how great will it be if and when Holliday and Cowser break camp? What a time to be an O's fan. It's true. It's true. What's up, Victor? Good to see you. But Jackson Holliday, I think he's got a really legitimate chance of making the team. If he continues to hit, I'll be disappointed. If he continues to do what he's doing for the next 3 weeks, and he doesn't break camp with the team, I'll be disappointed. Now, if he struggles the last 3 weeks and doesn't, let's say, gets 3 hits in the last 18 at-bats, and he just doesn't do well for the rest of his time. Because the one thing I will say, the one blemish on his spring training so far is that he has struck out 11 times with only 1 walk. So he's got to bring the walks up a little bit. He's got to bring the strikeouts down a little bit. But other than that, there's really nothing you can say about his game so far that's not been great. He's just been phenomenal. But I'll be disappointed if he doesn't make the team if he continues to hit the way he's hitting. Because the power will come. Power will come over time. It's just about making contact right now, putting good at-bats together, your exit velocity, your bringing down your strikeouts, bringing up your walks, having good at-bats. And as long as he's doing that, he's going to be productive. Now, the other thing he's got to work on is they want him to play second base. He is a natural shortstop. Second base and shortstop is very different, especially when you're turning a double play, because the turn is difficult. As someone who played both, it's a different look. First off, you're blind. When you're being fed the ball from the shortstop, you're coming across that bag blind. Your back is to the runner. So that's one thing. The other thing is the feed to the shortstop when the ball is hit to you, the feed to the bag. You got to know where to feed the ball to the bag as well. So those are the things that, from what they've said so far, he's really learning well. But what they want more from him with Jackson Holliday is they want more in-game situations. On the backfields, he looks great, they say. They say he looks great, he's got it down, but they want to see it during games live, where he's getting really tested. He really hasn't had it too much yet. But we'll see about that. Eric, what's up? Eric Presley, welcome in. Good to see you. He doesn't need to hit home runs right away, drive the ball, and take good at-bats. The rest falls into place. Exactly, Jeremy. That's exactly right. Jeff says, Walt, these managers today don't care about strikeouts. You and I might be, it's a different game today. I agree. Yeah, I agree, Jeff. We talked about that in the past. I still think that nothing good comes from strikeouts. You've got to put the ball in play. I think the Orioles are getting better with that. If you've noticed, they've really learned. They're really preaching to put the ball in play, to drive the ball up the middle. Even Ryan Mountcastle, who is a notorious high strikeout guy, has really started to cut down on his strikeouts. I think look, everything in my opinion goes full circle. And I think that ultimately we're going to get back to a time when the game is going to be where we used to remember it, where strikeouts were frowned upon, putting the ball in play, contact was very, very important. Pitchers went longer. I think we're going to get back to something like that. It may not be in my lifetime, but I do. I really think it'll happen. We'll see. Because, it's something to be said for those days. But anyway, Jackson Holliday, I really think he's got a real legitimate chance of making this team. Let me know in the chat, what do you guys think? Do you think, for those out there that are watching, that are big Oriole fans, you guys watch and really keep up with the Orioles, do you think Jackson Holliday's going to make this team? If things are status quo and stay the way they are, I'd like you to tell me in the chat. I'll give it a minute, see if we get any comments as we get ready for our next topic here. And again, remember, each and every week when we do this show, it's not always going to be an hour. It's going to be anywhere from an hour to whenever we're done talking about the topics that we're going to talk about. But anyway, I think Jackson Holliday, even with as well as he's done so far, what worries me is Brandon Hyde's got this infatuation with wanting veteran leadership on the team. He did it last year with Adam Frazier, and I got this feeling Colton Wong, as long as he is performing legitimately, could possibly make this team over Jackson Holliday. Again, unless Holliday is just totally tearing it up, they could start the season with Colton Wong, who is a 2-time Gold Glove Award winner. Good ball player. He didn't have a very good year last year. We'll see. Chris Slemmer, what's up, Chris? Hey, guys, sorry I'm late. Eating dinner with family. Yeah, no problem at all. Short answer, yes. Jeremy says yes. But it worries me because I really can see Brandon Hyde saying, I'm going to go. We want to give him a few more at-bats in the minor leagues. We're going to start the season with Colton Wong, a veteran presence in the lineup. He's also a left-handed hitter. They want a left-handed second base hitter. Again, I could see it. I'll be disappointed, but I can see it. Do you think Jackson Holliday DH beginning of the year? No, Douglas, I don't. They don't want him at DH at all. Now, he may rotate. If he makes the team and he's up and he stays up, they may give him a day off from the field and rotate him in that position. But the Orioles are not going to... He's too good defensively, first off. He's athletically incredible. His athletic ability is really going to help him and help the Orioles in the field. They're not going to do that with him unless it's like they do with Adley Rutschman and Ryan Mountcastle and some of these other guys and just put him at DH to give him a break and just put his bat in the lineup. They could do that. But he won't stay there. No, he won't stay there as a mainstay in the DH position because the Orioles are huge on flexibility in the lineup and on the field. If you've noticed, there are very few guys in the Orioles lineup, especially in the infield, that can't play just more than one position. Most of these guys can really move around the infield. So we'll see. We will see. All right. So next topic I want to talk about is another guy that's really, really turning heads. And this is the one that's the major conundrum to me, and that's Coby Mayo. And he is really making it hard for the Orioles to send him down. This is another guy right now, when you look at Coby Mayo, he's clearly putting the O's in a position to have to make a tough roster decision. He's batting .333 with 1,029 OPS, 5 doubles, a home run, which we're going to talk about in a minute, 9 RBIs, 4 walks in 13 games. He has 10 hits, and those 10 hits are tied for the team lead. Now, a home run he hit the other day, he hit it out of the stadium. Massive raw power potential from Coby Mayo. He's a third baseman who is learning to play first. Again, trying to have flexibility with this guy to be able to put the bat in the lineup in all kinds of different areas in different ways. So if he can get it, if he can get there, you'll have him at third, you'll have him at first, or possible DH. He's really making it hard as well. Do I think Coby Mayo makes the team? I don't. I don't think he makes the team. Because, again, I think that Brandon Hyde is going to go with Ramon Urias, and he's going to go with Jorge Mateo because of the experience and the veteran leadership. But Coby Mayo is really going to make this a tough decision. But he is hitting the cover off the ball, and defensively, he's doing well. He's not a superstar. He's not going to win Gold Gloves, but he is holding his own and doing really, really well. Jeremy says, I get the veteran leadership angle. This is a young team, but if Holliday keeps doing what he's doing and they choose to go with Wong over him, some fans will be ticked off. I agree. They will be, Jeremy, and I'll be one of them. No matter, Brian says Coby Mayo is killing it, making a good argument. Yeah, he really is. Would love to see Mayo as the third baseman long term. I think it's a first baseman long term. Jeremy, you know what? It's funny you said that. I'm not the biggest Ryan Mountcastle fan. I think he's too much of a free swinger. He's too streaky for me. He is the Adam Jones in a nutshell. Low and away with 2 strikes, and you'll get him every time. Adam Jones was a sucker for that low and away pitch when he got to 2 strikes. Ryan Mountcastle is the exact same way. He just is, and he's not even as good as Adam Jones. Adam Jones is like a top 15 Oriole of all time. Kind of a segue into those videos coming up, but yeah, I agree. I like Coby Mayo a lot. I think that Coby Mayo has a future on this team. It's a good problem to have to make these tough decisions when you've got so much talent. I mean, it's ridiculous the amount of talent the Orioles had. For a farm system that for the longest time was one of the worst and had no talent coming, this team just keeps churning out position players left and right. And they're getting there with the pitchers. The pitchers are coming. They're behind the position players. Don't get me wrong. They are behind the position players. But the pitchers are getting better as well. And he just did. He would always chase it low and away. I would have bet money on it every single time. You get Adam Jones at a 2-strike count, low and away, make it even marginally close, and he's swinging. And I'm sorry, it's the same thing with Ryan Mountcastle. But we're on Coby Mayo. Coby Mayo is really tearing it up. That home run he hit the other day, you guys got to go back. Try to find it on YouTube. Coby Mayo spring training home run. He mashed it. I mean, he hit it out of the stadium. He hit it over the stands into the parking lot. Now, I get it. It's a minor league stadium. But, man, he hit that ball a mile. Connor Norby has been swinging well, but not seeing I can see what you're saying, Eric. Hold on. Let me pull it up here. Eric's saying, but not seeing starting pitching. Yeah, Connor Norby, I think, just went into a game the other day. For the first time, starting to get some at-bats. Samuel Basallo got into the game today against the Yankees to get some hitting. Norby's doing fine. Again, he's not going to make the club out of spring training. He's not going to make opening day. I don't think Coby Mayo is going to make opening day either. But Coby Mayo is really, really making the Orioles have to take a second and third look. And we'll see what happens with him. But I like him. I like him a lot. Big guy who I think the power potential could be astronomical. Really power. Just raw power. Just amazing what he can do. But that's Coby Mayo. So with all this good talk about the Orioles right now, I've got to get into one subject with you guys because I've got a story to tell about this. So the other day when we went to the Orioles, we went to spring training. We saw the Twins play the Orioles, and the Orioles brought Craig Kimbrell into the game, and he pitched 1 inning, gave up 5 hits, 4 runs. He was just knocked around the entire time, and people around us, again, it was Sarasota, so it was the Orioles' home field. They were like, why did we sign this guy? Terrible signing. He's going to do horrible. He's not closing for us. And I looked at people, and I was talking to the people around us, and I said, well, first off, I said, let's pump the brakes. I said, this is spring training. These guys work on things at spring training. Don't look so much at the numbers, okay? I said, secondly, he's going to close. I said, he is our closer. He's closing. I don't know if he'll finish as the closer, but he's starting the year. He's closing for the Orioles. And I said, I wouldn't really worry too much about it. But the one thing I did say about what I saw in that outing with Craig Kimbrell was this. They were hitting him hard. Loud. Outs, loud hits. It wasn't just a bloop single here and there. The first pitch he pitched, he gave up a home run that went like 430 feet. The guy crushed it. And everything after that was loud. Line drive after line drive. That's what I didn't like. The numbers are one thing, but they were on everything he threw. He was on. Now, he was throwing 91, 92, 93. I understand this isn't the Craig Kimbrell of old. I get it. I mean, this guy's a borderline Hall of Famer. He's got a shot. I'm not saying he's getting in, but he's got a shot. And I still think he's going to close for the Orioles, and he'll do fine. But I did take a step back with the way they were hitting him. They were hitting him hard. No concerns, just veteran, just getting his work in. I hope so, Jeff. I hope so. Kimbrell's just getting a workout, hopefully. Yep. Hey, Richard, the legend, R. Johns, welcome in. Pitchers oftentimes get knocked around in spring training, especially if they're working on a pitch or something, or they could just be stung that day. Yeah, that's the hope. And that's what I was saying to people. Everybody in the chat, you're saying the same thing I said to everybody around us. I'm like, people always jump the gun. They exaggerate on everything. Oh my God, this guy is terrible. I'm like, First off, it's one outing. Second off, it's spring training. It's not that big a deal. He could be working on things. He's just getting his work in. He's getting his pitches over. He's working on things. He's getting his work in. Not to be redundant. It's that simple, guys. But I get it. You worry because with Bautista, lights out. I mean, even Bautista, I think, blew 5 or 6 saves last year. Nobody's perfect. But other than that, he was lights out. The guy was the most dominant closer in the game last year. And I think we're kind of spoiled with that. So what I would say to Orioles fans is this. Expect some bumpy rides with Craig Kimbrell on the mound. But I still think he's going to save some games for the Orioles. And I'm going to get into that when we do our next segment in a minute, when I talk about my top 15 bold predictions for the Orioles for the 2024 season. But Kimbrell overall, again, he didn't look good that day. I mean, he got shelled. Everything loud, everything hard, everything going on a line, everything. He wasn't even getting the ball. When they weren't swinging, he wasn't throwing strikes, and the strikes he was throwing, they were squaring everything up. But I still don't think it's cause for concern. Comment saying I'm more worried about CNL Perez. You know what? Eric, I agree with you. Look, I worry about the entire bullpen because there's absolutely nobody in that bullpen that has a long enough track record of consistency. Nobody. Whether you go Danny Colon, whether you go Yennier Cano, whether you go CNL Perez, whether you go this guy or that guy, it doesn't matter. Dylan Tate, because I think Dylan Tate's going to make the team. None of these guys have long track records of consistent excellence or consistent productivity even. So I get it, but I think you could pick your poison with the bullpen. They could be really good or they could implode. If there is a weakness on this team, I know it was a strength last year and the year before, but I think the bullpen could be a strength again. Or I wouldn't be if it's a weakness. I'm not surprised. Chase McDermott does look good, Brian. He's not going to make this team. But we'll talk about that. I think there's a possibility. I think I understand where you're going with him. And, I don't know. Maybe he gets called up in the middle of the season. I could see it. I could definitely see it. All right, gang. So there you go. Connor Norby, Jackson Holliday, Craig Kimbrell. We talked about the cuts. Corbin Burns gets opening day. Now it's time for my fun part of this. And as I talk about my 15 bold predictions, and you can write these down. And these are bold predictions. So obviously they're going to be a little bit more than your normal. It's not just going to be the Corbin Burns is the opening day starter. Or Adley Rutschman's going to hit 10 home runs. No, these are bold predictions on the season. Jeremy says the bullpen concerns me more than anything for 2024, but we'll see how it all shakes out. Yeah, exactly. Will they hold Holiday back? I don't think so, Chris. I don't think we have that leadership anymore. That's not this team anymore. If we still had the Angelos family and some of these other people, Dan Duquette and those guys in charge, maybe they would have held him back. But I think if he's ready, and if he's hitting, I think they'll go for him. I did have 40, Jeff, but I knocked it down to 15. 40 is too many. So my 15 bold predictions for the 2024 season for the Orioles. And I'm going to give everybody a chance to put in their bold predictions as well for each one I'm going to talk about. So my first bold prediction, and this one, I got to say, I think this one is one that I might not get. Because I made these bold predictions way early, but I didn't want to change anything. So number 15 for me, number 15 bold prediction, John Means starts 30 games and wins 17. Now, I kept it there because we don't know what's going on with John Means. He's not hurt. He's just behind everybody. So he might only miss 1 or 2 starts, maybe 3 at the most. So he could still get 30 starts. And I think he will. And I still think he can. I still think he gets 30 starts. And I think he wins 17 games for the Orioles. I really do. I think he wins 17 games for the Orioles. So that's my number 15. I want to know what you guys think. What do you think about John Means this year? If you had to put a bold prediction on him, what do you think that's going to be? But I think that, for me, is the bold one. He's going to start 30. He's going to win 17 games. That's a big, bold prediction. But I think he can do it. And wins in today's game are so hard to do. Guys win Cy Youngs when they win 12 games, 13 games. I think he can do it. I'm telling you, Jeff, I think the Orioles starting rotation, as long as I think they're to the point now where it's not going to be an innings thing. Jeff, I really don't. I don't think any of these guys are held back anymore for innings. I think they get their 30 starts. I really do. Number 14 for me on my bold predictions. Colton Cowser makes the opening day roster, and he hits .285 for the season, and he finishes third in Rookie of the Year voting. That's number 14 for me. Colton Cowser makes opening day roster, hits .285, and finishes third in Rookie of the Year voting. Good one, Jeff. Again, that's not very bold, though. You got to be bold. Be bold, man. No, I guess that's bold. I say 10 to 13 games. I also think Rodriguez gets 15 wins with his stuff. Very good, Chris. We'll have something on Grayson Rodriguez coming up. So, yeah, number 14 for me, Colton Cowser makes the team, hits .285, finishes third in Rookie of the Year voting. Just my opinion, but that's that one. Number 13 on my bold prediction, Connor Norby and Kobe Mayo make their Major League debut this year. Both of them. I think Kobe Mayo isn't so much of a bold prediction, but I do think Connor Norby is going to get the call this year. I think the kid's played too well in the minor leagues. He has nothing left to prove down there. I know he's blocked in a lot of areas, but I think before the season's over, you might see a Ramon Urias, and if Jorge Mateo is not playing well, he could be off the team. Both of those guys could be gone. But that's just my opinion. I think that both Connor Norby and Kobe Mayo will make their Major League debut this year. Not giving you any other stats on them. I don't know what they're going to do in that respect. But Connor Norby, Kobe Mayo, both of them going to be on the Orioles roster at some point this year. No, Chris, not third base. He's going to finish third in Rookie of the Year. Where'd you get third base? Did I say third base? Yeah, no. Cowser's not winning Rookie of the Year. He's going to finish third in Rookie of the Year. Did I not say that? Mayo was my too early hot take to make the team. Yeah, but you never know. Number 12 on my bold predictions. Corbin Burnes wins 20 games, and he wins the American League Cy Young. He's going to win 20 games for the Orioles, and he's going to win the American League Cy Young. He's on a really good team. He's in a really good ballpark for a right-handed pitcher. I think he's gonna take advantage of that left field wall. I think Corbin Burnes is going to have an excellent. It's his walk year, so you know he wants to have a big year. And I think he's going to deliver. And I think he's going to win 20 games, and I think he's going to win the American League Cy Young Award. Colton Cowser is an outfielder, Chris. You need to know this stuff. I'm just kidding. Burnes 20 wins. I hope so. Yeah, again, bold prediction. But I that's my bold prediction. I think he does. I think he's got everything in his corner to do it. He's on a really good team. He's going to score some runs. He's in a pitcher's ballpark now. And now that they moved back that left field wall, our ballpark went from being a hitter's park to a pitcher's park. And it's his walk year, and he wants to do everything he can to have a great year so that he can have a big payday. Well, yeah, not well. I didn't realize Garrett Cole was even hurt. I didn't know that. That's news to me. That must have just happened. But even still, Garrett Cole was the first time he won in the AL Cy Young last year. I still think look. Garrett Cole's the best pitcher in baseball right now. I get it, but Corbin Burnes is like number 2 or 3. He's right there. I don't think Garrett Cole is that much better than Corbin Burnes. I think he's better, but I don't think he's that much better. So that's just my opinion. I think Burnes can do it. There you go. So number 12, Corbin Burnes. Number 11, this is the one that I know is going to be so bold that it's not going to happen. But I had it on the list, and I gotta keep it on the list. Kyle Bradish wins 18 games for the Orioles and finishes second in Cy Young voting. That again, it's not going to happen at this point. Obviously, Bradish is going to be lucky if he even pitches at all. But that was my number 12. My number 11 was Bradish. I thought he was going to have a really good year. I really liked it. With him being slotted second, I thought it was perfect for him. And I really thought he was going to have that monster year. So that's why that one was there. Obviously, that one's majorly bold and probably is not going to happen at all because he's not even going to. I still think there's an outside chance he doesn't pitch at all. Yeah, exactly. And with that happening as well, it's not looking good. So that one, we'll just skip right past that one. Number 10, Jackson Holliday breaks camp with the Orioles, hits 300 for the season, and wins the Rookie of the Year. Jackson Holliday breaks camp, opening day with the Orioles, stays the whole season, bats 300, and wins the American League Rookie of the Year. And the Orioles have back-to-back Rookie of the Years. That's a bold one. Tyler Wells gets 18 wins. Look at you, Eric. That's a good one. Oh, Jeff, when did they say he was getting an MRI on the elbow? Because I thought they already did the MRI on the elbow and they didn't see any damage at all. I thought it was just strain. I thought they had said that they didn't see any structural damage on him. So that's kind of news to me. That must have just broke. 297 Rookie of the Year. Yeah, and when I say 300, 297 is like right there. If he hits 297, hits 298, 295, to me, that's one hit, 2 hits the rest of the season, and he's at 300. But yeah, that's my guy. Number 10, Jackson Holliday, makes the opening day roster, hits 300, Rookie of the Year. Number 9, now this is where we're really getting into going. Max Webster, welcome in. Says, hi, Walt, Melissa, in chat. Caught some of the O's-Yankees game earlier. Still think this is the O's year. Like 18, but got to run to an event for next few hours. Take care. Hey, thanks, Max. Thanks. I appreciate you. Yeah, the Orioles didn't win today. But, again, even the good teams lose 60 times. Yeah, if you win 100 games, that means you lost 62. So, yeah, no problem. Thanks, Max, for being here, buddy. Number 9, Heston Kjerstad. This is a big, bold prediction, everybody. Heston Kjerstad hits 25 home runs and finishes second in Rookie of the Year voting. Heston Kjerstad. The Rookie of the Year thing isn't really that big a deal to me. But Kjerstad, this is another guy. We're talking about Kobe Mayo. The power, the raw power that Heston Kjerstad has. Once he gets going, once he gets his at-bats, I really think we've got another Gunnar Henderson on our hand where he might struggle early, but once he gets it going, I think Kjerstad is going to be a force. What's going to hold him back is where they're going to play him. He's working on his defense. Obviously, he's behind all these other guys defensively, but offensively, this guy is really going to mash. Remember, this is the number 2 overall pick in the 2020-2021 draft. Number 2. So he's highly regarded, and I think he's going to have a big year. I think we've seen the power. We saw it last year. We saw it in spring training so far. We've seen it during batting practices. I think this guy's gonna have a big year power-wise. Is he going to strike out? Yep, I think so. Oh, Garrett Cole's getting an MRI. Okay, Jeff, I'm sorry. I misunderstood what you meant. Kjerstad is the guy I'm really excited about. Me too. I think Heston Kjerstad is going to be, Jeremy, I think he's got a long swing. They're going to work on his swing a little bit, make sure he makes some contact. He might strike out 100 times this year, but I think he's going to hit some balls. I really do. I think he's really going to have a decent year. Yeah, we are running out of places, Chris. That's I agree with you there. So 25 for Heston Kjerstad. Number 8, we were just talking about Craig Kimbrell. I think Kimbrell saves 30 games for the Orioles this year. I mean, this is a team. The Orioles are a World Series contender team. This team won 100 games last year. I think he's going to save 30 games. I really do. I'm not worried that much about Kimbrell. We might get into the season and he might fall apart. But personally, I think he's going to do well. I think he's going to save 30 games for the Orioles. Yep, that's my guy. So there you go. Number 8, Craig Kimbrell saves 30 games. Number 7, the Orioles will do better than last year. They will win 102 games and win the American League East. I think they are better this year than they were last year. Just in the pitching alone, if they can get Means, when Means comes back, you'll have a full year out of John Means. If Bradish gets back, you'll have a very formidable starting rotation. And I think this team is going to hit. I think the bullpen is going to be fine. This team is really going to have a nice year. I could be wrong. You still got to go out there and play the games. I think they're going to win 102 games. I think they're going to win one more than they won last year. They're going to go 102-60. They're going to win the East, and they're going to be celebrating another back-to-back American League East titles for the first time since 73, 74, something like that. But anyway, there you go. Bold prediction for me right there. Jeremy, look, I don't see how we can't be optimistic about this team. Nothing has changed. Now, again, Bradish is down, but we picked up Corbin Burns. Our players are a year older. They're a year wiser. They're more experienced now. Everybody is relatively healthy. If we get everybody out on the field, this team is really a good team. And I'm not one that usually toots the Orioles horn out loud and becomes a cheerleader. But for the first time in a very long time, I am very, very excited and confident that this team is going to win a lot of games. And I think part of it is because of the even schedule now. Not having to play the Yankees and the Red Sox and the Rays and the Blue Jays 19 times anymore, and being able to play everybody equally is a big deal. So I think it's going to help them. I really do. So there you go. That's number 7. Number 6 for me. This is, again, another one that could be... This is a bold one because this might not happen. But I think Cedric Mullins can steal 40 bases. Now, I know he's had, again, just like last year, he's already started the year. He had the hamstring injury. But if he can get past his leg injuries, his legs are his assets. And I think the Orioles are going to allow these guys to run this year. I really do. I think they want them to cause havoc on the base paths. You're going to see Gunnar Henderson run more. Jackson Holliday makes the team. He's going to run. You're going to see Cedric running. I think you're going to see these guys. Mateo, if he can find a way to get on base, he's going to run. I think we're going to see I think we could see 40 stolen bases out of Cedric Mullins this year. So there you go. That's number 6. Number 5. Jeremy. Well, let me get Jeremy. Says, I'm optimistic. It's the bullpen that bothers me a little bit, especially the back end. But that said, we'll see how it shakes out. Yeah, exactly. Mullins 40. I'm out. Injuries, perhaps. Yeah, exactly, Brian. And that's why it's a bold prediction. I think he stole 20 last year. But I think he can do better than 20. And that was 20 when he was hurt. So we'll see. Number 5, bold prediction. Grayson Rodriguez wins 15 games and strikes out 200 batters. You heard it. 200 batters. Grayson Rodriguez will win 15 games for the Orioles this year, and he strikes out 200 batters. I do. He's got the stuff to do it. Strikeout pitcher. He's going to have a full season. I think this guy is going to strike out 200 batters this year. He's going to walk some batters as well, but I think he's going to have 200 Ks. That's number 5. Number 4 on the list for me. Gunnar Henderson, Austin Hayes, both win a Gold Glove this year. I think Gunnar Henderson should have won it last year. I think Austin Hayes wins it this year, and I think Gunnar wins it this year. Because I think Gunnar Henderson is going to get the majority of the time at shortstop this year, and he's going to play up. He really, really is. I think I can see it. Gunnar's going to get it. He's going to have it. It's going to be his year. He's going to win the American League Gold Glove Award, and Austin Hayes is going to get it for left field. Jeremy says, Grayson Rodriguez wins 7, strikes out 220 batters with a sub 3.5 ERA. I hope you're right. That'd be a great year. So number 4, Austin Hayes, Gunnar Henderson, Gold Glove Awards. Number 3, another guy that I think gets a Gold Glove this year, Adley Rutschman. I think Rutsch gets a Gold Glove this year. I really do. I think he should have had it last year. This guy is not allowed a pass ball. He didn't allow a pass ball last year. I think he's going to win the American League Catcher Gold Glove this year. I really think the Orioles are going to have a highly successful year. I really do. I think, we had some guys win some awards last year. I think there's going to be some awards again this year for this team. Again, still got to play out, and anything could happen. The bottom could fall out, but I think there's just way too much talent on this team, and there's too much depth to really allow for that to happen. So, yep, that's the one for me. Number 3, Adley Rutschman wins the Gold Glove Award. Number 2, Gunnar gets the gold. He has that strong arm under control on tosses to first. Yeah, he's gotten better. He was a little out of control with his throws last year, but I think he's gotten a lot better. Number 2, bold prediction. And I got to tell you, I'm almost going to guarantee this one. I don't know why, but I just think this guy is going to mash this year. Gunnar Henderson is going to hit 40 home runs. He hit 28 last year, and that was with a bad April, where he hit like 180 in April. And even in March and April, he hit like under 200, and he wasn't hitting at all. I think Gunnar Henderson's going to lead the Orioles in home runs this year with 40. He almost led them last year. I think Anthony Santander had 29. Gunnar was second with 28. Again, another guy that has tons of power and is aggressive at the plate and really has good at bats. Pitch selection is amazing. He is learning, and he's just going to continue to get better. He's 22 years old. He's only 2 years older than Jackson Holliday. This kid, I'm telling you, Gunnar's going to hit 40 jacks this year. I just think they do. I think he does. I think he's going to really, really have a big year. 40 jacks. He might hit 265, but I think he hits 40 home runs for the Orioles this year. That's number 2. And then last but not least, and this is the big one, and I'm going to say this, and I hope I don't jinx my team. But I think for the first time since 1983, the Orioles are going to go to the World Series. I think they have a legitimate chance to win. I really do. I don't want to say they will win just yet because I really don't. I do believe in karma, and I do believe in what's the word? I'm very superstitious. So I don't want to jinx them, but I really think they have a very, very legitimate chance of coming home with the World Series trophy for the first time since 1983. And I really think they got a great shot at doing it. I really think I think they're going to get there. I do. I really think they're going to get there this year. I don't know why. Maybe, Chris, you could have an 83 rematch because Philadelphia is going to be really good. Philadelphia Phillies are going to be good. But so there you go. That's my 15 bold predictions on the Orioles for this year. We'll see which ones even come close to happening. World Series, baby. I was a young college student last time back in 83. Overdue. Yeah, I was 12, Brian, in 83 when they won the World Series because my birthday wasn't until December of 83, so I was only 12. Oh, Jeremy, I hope so, buddy. We'll have to celebrate if they do. But there you go, gang. That's our show for this week. We had a great one. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Lots of news, lots of things going on. Okay, need to polish up your bold predictions. Only 4 or 5 I would consider bold. Okay. I think a lot of them are bold. I don't know. Some of these are really a lot higher than I probably expected them to be, but we'll see. But yeah, there you go. That's our show for today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Again, just to do a little bit of quick housekeeping again on a few things. For those of you that don't know, we are here every Monday with Orioles Weekly at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. We try to get it in at 6 before the games start at 7. So be sure to check us out every Monday right here for our live stream. Tuesdays, we have our Orioles and MLB videos that drop at 9 a.m. Tuesdays and Wednesdays. Be sure to check those out. We're doing a top 25 all-time Orioles list right now. And, of course, after that, we'll have some other videos coming out. I got a couple other things I'm working on for some top 10s of Major League Baseball. So hopefully you guys will join us for those. Of course, when the season starts, we'll have some Wednesday game of the week. Some of those will fall on Thursdays because some of the Wednesday games are during the day. And, of course, I have to work, so I can't do the day games. But Wednesday game of the week, so we're going to be doing play-by-play. So join us for that. And, of course, Thursdays, we have our Hall of Fame profiles. I love doing the profiles personally. I think it's one of my favorite things to do. I've learned so much about some of these old-time players that I didn't know, and I think it's been great. But anyway, gang, thank you all for joining me today. Lots of big news from the Orioles. Exciting times. We are 21 days away from opening day. March 28th, Orioles-Angels. Can't wait for it. It's going to be amazing. I hope everybody has a great week. We will see you guys soon. Be sure to check out those videos tomorrow. Don't forget about them. Until next time, keep rooting for those O's and your team. And we'll talk to you soon. And take care of yourselves and each other. Bye, gang.